All right, we're up for the mayor's message. You need me to buy you some more time, I'll do that.
Hey, look, I appreciate I was up there making some adjustments to what Betty had.
Pencil ink.
That's a good, well, I won't say it's a good thing, Betty, it depends. Want to say good evening to everybody. Good to see everybody here. I want to tell you to go ahead and relax a little bit, Ms. Pro Tem, because this budget message is a little long, but the information is good. So we'll take that. But I certainly just want to spend today to talk about the message that we have for the residents of the city of Montgomery and for the city council to consider for passage for the fiscal year 2026. This proposed budget is both balanced and is one that we think is very fair and in line with the growth of the city. Reflects our continued commitment to fiscal responsibility, strategic investment, and inclusive growth. As Montgomery evolves into a premier logistics and industrial hub in the Southeast, our planning must match our scale of our ambition. Fiscal year 2026 proposed budget builds on the momentum of transformative developments, prudent revenue management, and a shared vision for a vibrant future for all the citizens of our city. Mr. President, you and I have talked about the city's financial health and the stability that we seek to have for not only our government, but for the region itself. And the city's financial health continues to be underpinned by the growth in three primary revenue streams, which are sales and use taxes, business license fees, and ad valorem taxes. Sales and use taxes account for nearly 50% of the city's revenue. And although fiscal year 2024 saw a 5% year-over-year increase in this revenue source, it has not been as robust in the current fiscal year. Year-over-year, the increase is hovering at 2% for fiscal year 2025. This revenue stream is projected to be flat or at the same level as around fiscal year 2024 at the end of this current fiscal year. After remaining unchanged for over a decade, I want to thank the City Council for increasing business license fees that were adjusted for the current fiscal year to reflect the city's expanding base. It is projected that this revenue increase will generate additional revenue while maintaining fairness and competitiveness for businesses operating in the city. Ad valorem taxes, or property tax revenues, continue to grow steadily, which is driven by rising property values. A good thing for us in our city, and certainly new developments. Many of you are seeing them in your district. Many of you are seeing redevelopment and renewed investment in older parts of the city. These funds support essential services and infrastructure investments, ensuring that growth is matched by quality of life improvements. These revenue sources provide a stable foundation for the city's operating budget and allow us to invest confidently in public safety, infrastructure, and workforce development. Because of attrition and some growth from certain revenue streams, the city will be replacing outdated systems, such as the communication systems for the Montgomery Police Department. While very expensive, very timely, it's something that we believe is no less needed. Not only increase the efficiency of communications and effectiveness for our police department, but it will improve the opportunity for safer outcomes for our residents and those that visit in the city. We'll also continue with capital improvements, replacing and repairing roofs for various city buildings and other upgrades. We also understand that our tourism feeds our revenue and our general funds. And so for over 2 years, we've been talking about wayfinding, basically more decorative signage that really point tourists to various historic places in our downtown area and in other parts of our central core. This project, again, costly, but nonetheless needed for the type of growth and the type of city that we have become. We'll also look at other projects that we have to repair, such as elevators, while also investing, as we've said before, in particular in recent months, investing in up-to-date and recent technological improvements such as speed and red light cameras throughout our city. Also, LPRs should also be mentioned, license plate readers. Additionally, rolling stock such as open body trucks, bucket trucks, and heavy-duty equipment needed at the landfill will be purchased to replace equipment whose useful life has expired and cost too much to repair. Revenues have continued to grow for the largest revenue streams that constitute more than 86% of the proposed fiscal year 2026 budget. The current year's revenue projection includes growth based on actual revenue collected through July and forecasted through September. As the current fiscal year will close on September 30th, the city's sales and use tax revenue is projected to be flat compared to the previous year. Because of projected growth in some other revenue streams and underspend of budgets by some departments due to attrition, the city will be able to pay for defibrillators, computers, copiers, economic development incentives, and continue to purchase additional rolling stock to replace old equipment that stays in disrepair and is often unreliable. These projected savings from the general fund will support the growth of the city's fund balance or reserves. As the city grows, so must the general fund operating and debt service budget to provide services for our citizens. Therefore, it is vital this administration ensures that the reserves, our savings, keep the same pace and continue to be as near to 20% of the general fund as possible. Our administration continues to take a proactive approach when constructing the general fund operating and debt service budget. That approach is no different in fiscal year 2026, whereby zero-based budgeting is used to ensure that employee positions are funded to provide for the needs of those we serve, citizens of this great city. Being proactive is crucial when hiring and retaining qualified employees. City department heads continue to fill vacancies due to our administration ensuring that the salaries and employee positions are competitive. And we're grateful for the council cooperating with us in the budgets. We try to keep up with not only some of our local and state competitors, but also those at the federal level and in the private sector. We believe retaining the talent and institutional knowledge is key to serving our city and is key to making sure government works in the best interest of all of our residents. We also know that in order to do that, we have to provide the type of increases and the type of things that our staff is looking for, every employee. And so we're proud to say that fiscal year 2026 budget has merit increases in it for every city employee. That is something that this city has not always been able to do, and we're proud to be in financial position to do that. We're grateful because we know many of our longtime city employees went many years without being able to get merit increases. And this will also include employees at the top of their pay grade. So you may be wondering, how are some city employees at the top of their pay grade receiving a merit increase? Let me explain very briefly. As an incentive to retain employees, again, who have reached the top of their pay grades, we approved increasing the number of steps in each pay grade. Hopefully, increasing these steps on each pay plan will incentivize employees who have topped out on their pay grade to consider deferring their retirement date for 1 or more years. By deferring their retirement date, employees will be ensuring an increase in the amount of their pensions, and the city will retain those employees with institutional knowledge for a longer period. Retention of these employees will allow cabinet officials and department leaders to fill vacant positions and ensure that cross-training occurs before losing those employees who are eligible for retirement. We consider this a win-win, both for the city and our team members. Additionally, moving to pay plans that have higher pay grades allows us to be more competitive with those entities that are also increasing their higher wages. I will always be thankful for the persistence of all the employees citywide to ensure services are provided to the citizens of Montgomery that they have become acclimated to receiving. We take a lot of pride in that. Charlie, whether that's filling the pothole or Marchewa that's putting lights into a city park. We know that all of these services are important to our residents, not just the things that people hear and see on the news or read about on social media. So much of what our city government does goes unseen, and we're grateful for those employees who are working above normal work schedule to ensure that these services are provided at a very high level to our residents. Our employees understand that it's a lot more about working until the task is completed than just working until the end of the shift. Next, I'm going to present to you what has been included in the fiscal year 2026 proposed operating and debt service budget. As I mentioned before, this proposed budget has the merit increase included in it for all of our city employees. To hire and retain employees, the city must remain competitive. Consequently, it is important to keep merit increases in the budget for those employees who are eligible for these increases. If merit raises are not included in the budget, employee salaries will begin to trail those of comparable positions in other government entities and the private sector. The city is still benefiting from lowering total debt and not having to service any short-term debt. The long-term debt in this budget is approximately $25.5 million. Consequently, due to more companies purchasing business licenses, which is a good thing, stable revenue growth plus debt savings will support the increases in this proposed budget. Additionally, there's an interfund transfer amount of $6.8 million that is less than 2% of the total budget. These funds are from special revenue funds that can be transferred to the general fund to offset the cost of debt service expenditures. Sales and use tax revenues constitute approximately 46.5% of the proposed budget. The overall increase in this revenue stream year over year is projected to be a modest 2%. That's better than what we thought it would be halfway throughout this year. Nearly 37.7% of the revenue is derived from ad valorem taxes, again, or property taxes, business licenses, and sanitation fees. The remaining 15.8% is derived from lodging taxes, rental taxes, interfund transfers, and various miscellaneous revenues. This proposed budget does not include increases in allotments to outside agencies because sales and use tax revenue are projected to be flat, and this revenue stream constitutes more than 47% of the total revenue budget. Additionally, the cost of employee and retiree fringe benefits, for example, health insurance, continue to increase, which also undermines increasing allotments. Today, I'm presenting to you a balanced general fund operating and debt service budget that is $21.6 million more than the current year's budget, which includes merit increases and accompanying fringe benefits such as FICA, Medicare, retirement and health insurance expenditures. The percentage increase for the total proposed budget is again 6.5% more than the current year's budget. Those city council members who were able to participate in the budget meetings heard cabinet members and department leaders express their requests and justification for the increases in their departmental operating budgets to continue providing high standards of service that are paid for and rightfully expected by our residents. We want to thank all of the council members for their observations and for your comments that help with the composition of the fiscal year 2026 proposed budget. It is projected that revenue collected in the city in the current year will provide an additional increase to fund balance, or what we call our reserves or savings, that will help the city grow so that it can be prepared for unforeseen emergency circumstances like I pointed out some this evening. Also, increasing the reserves will help the city stay in good posture to maintain its current bond rating or be upgraded by rating agencies such as Moody's, Standard & Poor's, or Fitch. Finally, I want to spend the last few minutes acknowledging the hard work that allowed us to get to this point. I want to thank again all of our team members for their hard and often difficult work they do every day to provide first-class services to the citizens of Montgomery. Also deserving of our thanks are those employees who spent many long nights, many long days, and weekends preparing the final budget documents from all the various departments, but certainly our finance department, our CFO, Betty Beville, and her staff, who worked persistently projecting revenues, working with the city council on questions that they had, giving them answers and other observations to ideas that were brought up, screening expenditures, answering questions, emails, and other correspondence related to the 2026 proposed budget, even taking in questions and concerns from the general public. This administration will continue to move forward to build a better Montgomery for all residents, and our plan is to continue to move forward until that becomes a reality for our citizens. In conclusion, the proposed fiscal year 2026 general fund operating and debt service budget being presented to you today is $353,242,591 for your approval. I have confidence that this proposed budget will allow the city to move forward in building a better Montgomery for its citizens. Mr. President, that concludes my message and my presentation. I thank you for the opportunity and certainly open up for any questions that you or any members of the council may have at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that presentation.